results of the 2 additional cases, we are now, this evening, directing the following additional protocols. Number 1, the government is suspending travel for all persons coming into Kenya from any country with reported coronavirus cases. Number 2, only Kenyan citizens and foreigners with valid residence permits will be allowed to come in, provided they proceed on self-quarantine or to a government-designated quarantine facility. This will take effect within the next 48 hours to cater for any passengers who may be en route. This directive will remain in effect for the next 30 days or as varied by the National Emergency Response Committee. Number 3, all persons who have come into Kenya in the last 14 days must self-quarantine. If any person exhibits symptoms such as cough or fever, they should present themselves to the nearest health facility for testing. Number 4, we have suspended learning in all our education institutions with immediate effect. Consequently, and to facilitate a phased approach, primary and secondary day schools are to suspend operations from tomorrow. For those in boarding schools, the school administration is to ensure that students are home by Wednesday, the 18th March 2020, while universities and tertiary institutions are to close by Friday, 20th March 2020. Where possible, as number 5, government offices, businesses, and companies are encouraged to allow employees to work from home, with the exception of employees working in critical or essential services. Number 6, in order to avoid the risk of transmission through physical handling of money, we encourage the use of cashless transactions, such as mobile money, M-Pesa and otherwise, and credit cards, and we appeal to mobile operators and banks to take note of the situation that we are in and to reduce the cost of transactions during this period. Number 7, in line with the directive to avoid crowded places, citizens are encouraged to A, avoid congregating, including in places of worship, B, minimize attendance to social gatherings, including weddings and funerals, and restrict the same to immediate family members. C, we call for people to avoid crowded places, including shopping malls and entertainment premises. And D, to minimize congestion in public transport whenever possible. And lastly, E, the limitation of visitors to hospitalize patients in both public and private hospitals. Number 8, hospitals and shopping malls are encouraged to provide soap, water, hand sanitizers, and ensure that all their premises are regularly cleaned and disinfected. Fellow Kenyans, globally, the impact of the virus is still unfolding. I want to assure you that my administration is at the forefront of assessing, containing, and managing this pandemic in our country. Some of the causes, some of the measures that we have taken today may cause inconvenience, but I want to assure you that they are designated and designed to ensure that we effectively contain the spread of this deadly virus. I want to appeal to each and every one of you to strictly observe these measures, but I would also appeal for calm. Kenyans, please let us avoid misinformation that causes panic and anxiety. Let us all remember that as Kenyans, we have been faced with other crises in the past, but we have always triumphed by coming together in the spirit of national unity and cooperation. Every single Kenyan has a responsibility and a duty to play his or her part in safeguarding our nation and the lives of our people. There is no doubt that this pandemic will test us, as it is testing all countries in every corner of the globe. But I don't believe that it will defeat us. If we pull together and everybody does their part, we shall, with God's grace, overcome the worst impacts of this virus. I want to take this opportunity to thank you members of the Fourth Estate for your support, especially in avoiding to sensationalize, but rather provide information that can be and is being useful to wananchi. Let us work together. May God bless you all, and may God bless Kenya. I'll take just 2 questions, and then I will call some of my colleagues here. 2. Yes, ma'am. We are working very closely with counties, and just as I thanked members of the media for the good work they are doing, especially in this particular case, I also want to take this opportunity to thank county governments across the country who are also taking decisive measures to ensure that they have isolation facilities in each of their counties. I know a good number have. I know Meru, Kisumu, Nakuru, Mombasa, Machakos, just to name a few. And I'm sure the minister will be able to give you a much more detailed brief on that. But I must say that we are indeed working very closely with county governments. We appreciate the way they have come out strongly, and we will continue to partner together to ensure that we defeat this disease. Hi, whichever one of you. Because you're taller, umemunyanganya.
My name is Keldo from TV. Two questions. One is, those who are affected by this disease, are they going to be treated through UHURU? Are they going to receive that treatment from the government through UHURU? Number two, there are fears by some of the people who are held at Magadi who have been quarantined that they are not being told what it is that is happening to them and all that. As the minister of probably the government, is he taking any measures to make sure that they are being taken step by step with regards to what is happening to them?
I want to assure you that we are doing everything possible. And they are indeed being briefed. They are just going through the testing phases. Indeed, the first patient who was our case number 1, I have been reliably informed regularly by the ministry that she is doing well. They are indeed looking after her. And I want to assure all Kenyans that the government will ensure that any patient who has come into contact with this disease will be given full support to ensure that they are able to recover. As we know, it is not many across the globe have been infected but have also recovered. And we are very hopeful that with treatment, and we are learning each and every day, that those in our country who will come into contact with this disease, we are very hopeful and are working very hard to ensure their full recovery. But we all know the risks, we all know the fatalities, we all know what has happened across the country. We are just saying that we will do everything in our power to ensure that we minimize loss of life and maximize recovery, full recovery of all those who have been affected by this virus. I think with that, I will just ask CS Magoha just to say one word on the
Thank you, Excellency. I just want to re-emphasize that effective tomorrow morning, first of all, there is no cause for alarm. There is no need for the learners to be alarmed. But as of tomorrow morning, we expect all day scholars to remain at home, both in primary and secondary school. The logistics of the borders, who will start moving between Tuesday and Wednesday, they should wait for our circular, which we shall send out tomorrow. And like His Excellency has said, the universities have up until Friday to close. And it is for an indefinite period. We are working on all this together. And I think the running cry is that there is no cause for alarm. Everything should be done in an orderly manner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to emphasize the question that was asked regarding the issue of the counties, just to emphasize again, Your Excellency, since you directed that we support the counties, there is nothing we are leaving to chance. And I can emphasize that we have given them equipment. We have got a list of their wish lists of the things that they will want to put in their level 4 and level 5 hospitals. That's number one. Number two, Your Excellency, is to add that they have taken, throughout the counties, not only are there most of the level 4 and level 5 hospitals ready, they have extended some of them even to level 3, even facilities up to level 3. Some counties have even created their own quarantine huge quarantine facilities. So it's a national movement now. This is our national movement, and everybody is taking their responsibility. Your Excellency, let me also add that the business community has also been very supportive in this effort. Some of them have started putting sanitizers in markets. Some of them have started establishing washing points. And the companies are also in it with us as much as the government is in it. So every sector is participating in a very patriotic and admirable manner.
Thank you, for that. Conclude just by adding one point that I didn't mention, and I just want to mention. We are very grateful to, like we said, all who are playing their part, including our business people, our shop owners, our supermarket owners, our chemists, everybody who is playing their part. However, I would like to really emphasize on one point, that we shall also equally not entertain, hoarding or raising prices to mwananchi, taking advantage of this situation to create artificial shortages so that mwananchi is made to pay more. The Competition Authority has already been given clear instructions, and they will be moving around. And anybody who is seen to have taken unnecessary and undue advantage of this particular crisis to make our citizens pay more than they should, serious and severe action will be taken against those who perpetuate in that ungodly act. So I just wanted to really emphasize on that. I'm sure you probably have some more technical questions. The National Emergency Response Team is here. I will leave you, Bwana Waziri, to continue on so that maybe you can give and answer some of the more technical questions that maybe these good people may have, so that they can keep wananchi adequately informed. I thank you, and once again, God bless you all. Asanteni sana.
Again, I apologize. The program today, as you know, was somebody else's, as you put it. But I think you are happier. You are happy to hear from him, were you not? Yeah, so the patience, I think, was well warranted. As far as the other issues are concerned, what I propose, we will be having a briefing, as I said, every day. And we have got, and if there are any technical issues that arise between now and what will obviously be your main thing, we'll be happy to deal with it tomorrow. Because at the moment, clearly what we wanted is those main issues. The rest of it is every day, and what is coming out of the situation. As I have said earlier, this is a fluid and moving target, and you cannot really say what is going to be happening by tomorrow evening. So as it happens, we will let you know. And also, as I said, we will continue to cooperate at all levels, in any way. And if you feel that there is something that is happening that you don't feel is matching up and meeting the level that we require, please call me. I'll be happy to respond.
So probably a clarification. These two new cases, are they completely new, or are part of those people who are coming into contact?
It is not. It is those people who are in contact. It is those people. In fact, they were sitting with her in the plane. It is not even with her in somewhere here. They were sitting with her in the plane. So those are the two people. The rest of them, the ones we have tested, even in her neighborhood. As you know, we picked people there. We went and tested people. We went round and measured. So far, nothing.
Are they Kenyans?
They are Kenyans. One of them is a dual citizen of British and Kenyan origin, and the other one is a Kenyan. Thank you all very much indeed.
Yeah. Yes.
Dear Lord, today I come before you for two things. Grateful for keeping me alive even though unajua my day na kutupea Kenya amnesia.